Marc Abrams back at it this week as we tape this late Friday night, the witching hours, basically, of Friday night into Saturday morning. I got a few college basketball picks that I will reveal later in this little quick podcast I'm whipping up here. Just want to go over a few sports topics from this past week, 10 days. Some things that have kind of, you know, uh, scratched my mind here a little bit, and I just wanted to get some opinions on. Well, first, from the winter meetings in Dallas, Texas, the New York Mets paid $765 million for Juan Soto to don right field, maybe be a DH later. He'd be 41 years old when this $765 million. It's $51 million a year. It's actually a lot of years of like about $46 million. He's getting $75 million at signing. He's going to make $121 million this year. Is Juan Soto? I mean, he's making more money than Otani. Otani, who's a generational player. Soto's a great player. Otani, especially when he's able to come back to the mound, is a generational player. Juan Soto is making $300 million, and the guy who was playing next to him last year in Aaron Judge, Soto was even the best player in his own outfield last year, yet signed the largest contract in terms of value, $765 million. Look, I mean, I remember a couple years ago, 5 years ago, when Bryce Harper signed with my hometown Philadelphia Phillies. Everyone thought in 12 years and $330 million, that's a bargain compared to what Soto and the Mets are committing to. Steve Cohen, I know he's got the deepest pockets out there. I think for a few years it's a great signing because of, like I said, Soto's just a tremendous baseball player. He's a great hitter, pretty good outfielder. I don't know how long, into that contract that he's going to be an outfielder because, like you said, he's going to be 41 years old if he goes past the 5-year out limit for the New York Mets. So, I guess you saw what the one of the sticking Yankees and Mets. Juan Soto's got a suite and security. I don't know if the Yankees were offering him a suite or not, but that was a big bone of contention that Soto, I think, the main year. Will we see baseball's first billion-dollar baseball player? Vladimir Guerrero is the right now tops the list of potential free agents for the 2025 going into the 2020 sports. First billion-dollar player in terms of getting a contract worth that. Why not? I mean, his numbers, he had 323, 35 homers, 100 plus RBIs, Juan Soto type numbers. And as we see, they're going up and up and up. Just 4 or 5 years ago, like we said, Harper got 330 million. People are like, wow. And so, and then there's a Judge of 400 plus million, and then Otani at 700 million, and now Soto at 765. So, would not be surprised if Vladimir Guerrero next year flirts with a 10-figure contract in upwards of $1 billion. So these contracts are just getting more expensive. Soon nobody's going to be able to afford to go to a baseball game. Switch to college football, and the shocker of the week, Bill Belichick, now the coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, known to be a basketball power throughout the last 50-plus years. North Carolina really making a commitment. They replaced the 73-year-old Mac Brown with a 72-year-old youngin in Bill Belichick. We know Belichick can definitely recruit young people, as witness tuition to North Carolina. But in any event, all jokes aside, it's a good hire for North Carolina. He mentioned a lot by this being a pipeline for those who are good enough to the NFL, and who better than the 6-time head coach, Super Bowl champion, plus 2 as an assistant coach, the 8-time Super Bowl champion, Bill Belichick. I think it's a great move. Can't wait to see him in the ACC, with especially his defensive prowess going up against the Miamis and the Clemsons. Georgia Tech's a team on the rise. SMU, first year in the league, going to the college football playoff, and we'll have a lot of picks by the end of the week on the college football playoff. So I'm very excited to see the college football playoff, and especially next year with Bill Belichick. I was reading a lot of stuff. He may burn some bridges in the NFL. He wants control. Do teams want to give him control? There are a lot of teams now. It's amazing how the NFL works. It's such a copycat league. First it's all in the field, the way the coaching thing is in terms of RPOs, about teams opening up. And even the front office. Back then, there used to be a lot of the Bill Parcells is shopping for his own groceries. Now it's back to the old GM, picking the groceries for the coach. Not many coaches have the personnel power that they had maybe 7 to 8, 10 years ago. So maybe that's why Bill Belichick saw the writing on the wall. And in North Carolina, he's he is the de facto GM and a player evaluator and picker in terms of who he's going to be able to get with the NIL money. That's going to be interesting to see with the transfer portal and everything, guys and kids maybe not liking the old school tactics of Bill Belichick as an 18, 19-year-old, and you'll see them jump to more. But again, like Deion Sanders with Colorado, there's going to be a plenty of quality players, top players that may not like what's going on at their present school and flock down to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. One other thing, Stephen A. Smith. 6 years, $120 million. That's the rumor at ESPN. A massive contract for a guy who is doing what I'm doing, making opinions. He doesn't know more than I do. And I've been saying this for years, the only difference between a guy like Stephen A. Smith and a guy like me or someone else doing another podcast, he's got access to call LeBron James on the phone or call this guy or that guy on the phone. I watch the same games he does. And I'm not just pointing him out. There's all kinds of guys out there, Jason Whitlock and Skip Bayless, who knows absolutely nothing about sports, guy who's been stealing money for years at Fox Sports. Thank God he's off the air. And before that, ESPN. He just makes stupid comments. Stephen A. Smith's a guy just yells and screams. Chris Russo, another guy, just yells and screams, has made millions and, up to hundreds of millions over the years. And my thing is Stephen A. Smith should never, ever, 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 never talk about someone's contract again, because there's a lot of people in this world that can do what he does. I mean, it's just the bottom line. There just is. I mean, like I said, if I had a debate with Stephen A. Smith, I would more than hold my own. And ESPN's never paid me a dime. Fox Sports has never paid me a dime. And we got in a debate about sports and what we see on the field and stuff like that. I'd more than hold my own, because I know I watch more sports than he does. I watch more games. I can evaluate talent a lot better than he does. And then if he wants to rip on a guy hitting 265, making $25 million a year, guess what, Steven? Or a quarterback not holding his own. There's only a finite amount of people who can do this in this world. There's a lot of people who can do what you do. So 120 million, savor that. You've earned it. I give you that much money. I give you that much, but it's a lot of money for a guy. Speaking of money, try to win you a couple bucks on Saturday, like 3 college basketball national champions. UConn getting 2.5 against Gonzaga. UCLA playing their arch rival in Arizona. So also one bonus pick. I'm not in love with it, but he's one of my favorite fighters out there. I'm going to pick Colby Covington as a plus 220 underdog against Joaquin Buckley on Saturday night in the UFC. So I want to thank everyone for joining us for this quick podcast of sports. We're going to be trying to do this every day. The boxing podcast will be back this week. I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee for Country Box 27. We'll be putting the links out all over on Marc Abrams Boxing on Instagram and on my Facebook page, Marc Abrams, on Twitter at @Abrams Boxing. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and we'll talk to you later in the week.